at risk. Homes and property. Okay, this is a quick little thing here. 1992, I bought my cabin in North Cove. At the time, I was almost half a mile away from the ocean. And after the last, what do you call that? Wind and tides? Yeah, winds and waves accident happened. I'm now 800 feet from the ocean. So that's a lot. We've lost a lot of property. We've watched many of the houses and cabins along the coast to this effect, and we have no recourse. Many cabins were generational. Their owners mourned their lost heritage. Wetlands and habitat. As the ocean encroaches and impacts not only fish migration, but also snowy plover habitat. We've seen that happen a little bit north of Warwick and Cannery up there around Merrill, where it's a snowy plover sanction, and we've seen some issues with that. County and state tax base. Our property taxes have fluctuated over the past 5 years, and they're finally stabilizing, we believe. With every house lost, Pacific County and the state lose revenue. Some of the areas redlined for building, yet owners still pay the same tax rate. We don't understand that. I don't know much about PUD infrastructure other than we're supposed to be getting it up to the Graham County line by maybe early 2018. And I can't imagine what it's going to cost to put all those poles up along that highway and watch them go in 3 years later or 4 years later. So I guess that's all I can say about that. Environmental pollution. This is near and dear to my heart. I walk Washaway Beach quite often, and almost every time I walk, I'll go to the end of a street, specifically Blue Pacific, and I see stacks of paint, turpentine, hazardous material placed next to the leading edge on purpose. And I'm not sure why that is, because I know you can take that stuff into the county dump and they don't charge anything for it. But it is, and finally, you know, we have old pickup trucks, old RVs, crammed full of all this junk that's backed right up against the cliff waiting to go over. And so you hate to see that kind of stuff going to the ocean. I mean, some of it's pretty nasty stuff. What we're doing. Tim started a petition August the 10th, 2016. We have almost 400 signatures, 325 plus some that are out. I think it's almost 400 signatures, and we're really pleased that we're partnering with the tribe and with the cranberry growers. We think that there's a better chance of getting stuff done if we're all in this together. Recommendations. Well, I guess the immediate would be, like this says, riprap stabilization on the shoreline from Bennett property, which some of us know as Tumadanski Point, the armored house. It certainly seems to have worked for him, but unfortunately it comes around that other side and it starts working on us. So I've seen it go in over the last 2 or 3 years. It'll come around that corner and it's head north, and it gouges out a nice chunk of land. It goes up a little bit, does it a second time, and by the time it gets to Whipple, it starts heading out to sea a little bit. So I think him doing that probably is saving his property, but it's not doing a heck of a lot of good for the rest of us. So I do believe the answer is to stabilize the whole shoreline. I know it's going to cost a lot of money, but what the heck? All we have is time to shoot for it. Okay, engineering plans need to be developed and prepared, and there's a lot of government agencies that work that's going to be working with us, and hopefully we can expedite as much as possible this partnership.
So I know that Tim couldn't join us tonight, but indeed, you know, what you do have, I know you're here with copies of the petitions, right?
Yes, I have.
You have those here, so I mean, it's a very significant coordinated response, right? You know, from the homeowners themselves, recognizing that, you know, this is a significant issue and they've combined to actually make their point known.
Yeah, that was actually my question, if you could clarify what the petition actually is for.
I've, about 10 or 11 years ago, a couple of neighbors in North Cove and I put a little thing together. It was our erosion thing. Same thing we're doing here, but it was just the homeowners in North Cove. We had Representative Blake helping us, and at least they helped us a little bit there. And it's just, I can't tell you how pleased I am to be part of a coalition, I guess.
So what does the petition say? Is there a text of the petition? I know it's online.
Hang on just a minute. There's one in here somewhere. I got it. All right, here we go.
Here's the cover letter.
I got it. This petition is presented to further the ongoing and renewed efforts to protect North Cove Beach from the effects of flood and storm weather erosion. It also responds to the needs to address serious ongoing environmental pollution from destruction of adjacent residences and infrastructure, which have been allowed to wash unchecked into the Pacific Ocean, Local Harbor, and the North Cove Beach for years. Spot this pollution includes chemical adhesives, petroleum products, styrofoam debris, lead-based paints, PCBs, raw sewage, various mineral solvents, as well as other construction-associated substances from destroyed residences and infrastructure. The petition and the signatories attempt to bring a temporary and a permanent stop to all such egregious ongoing ramifications by the most direct and obvious means possible, which is to take emergency immediate action to slow, impede, and ultimately stop ongoing erosion problem. This can best be accomplished by securing the banks with soft and hard stabilization, as has successfully and unquestionably been demonstrated effected by the adjacent property owner, the Armored Tomb Dancy Bennett property. This successful erosion mitigation clearly demonstrates feasibility of permeate high water winter time storm erosion control northward from this location and toward Warrenton Cannery Road, and serves as the best available science to solve the problem. If also therefore resolves the unnecessary expenditure of funds to study the property or for additional engineering that only further delay the necessary action. Recent threatening weather conditions combined with high ocean water levels have accelerated this loss of coastal land. The Friends of North Cove Beach also seek to secure resources to proactively protect the adjacent state highway Route 105, protecting the nearby low-lying cranberry bogs from saltwater flooding as well as further saltwater contamination. We believe that a fractured approach to addressing these diverse interests is a waste of resources that creates an unfair and redundant approach to the communal efforts of the comprehensive approach. We collectively request that a fair portion of the state budgetary funds allocated for Pacific County beach erosion of approximately $200,000, as well as emergency highway and potential environmental protection funds, to be set aside for this emergency effort, which has gone too long unaddressed by the county, state, and federal authorities, in spite of ongoing knowledge of this tragedy narratives which is known to threaten the ocean, this fishery, and the community at large. We thank the recipients of this community outcry and look forward to a common successful resolution to manifold problems unaddressed by the lack of action.
Not to put people on the spot, but how many people in this room have actually signed this petition?
I happen to have a couple open spaces here if anybody else wants.
Yes, just a follow-up clarification question. It does not address willingness to clean up pollution before it goes to the water. It's just not protection. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, I can't speak for Tim. I think he did a pretty good job. Tim, go here, so.